and then you become one of these fucking stupid, like, what's the word? Oh god. One of these brain-dead fucking acolytes who goes there and just thinks, like, this story in the news, Prince Andrew fucking getting in trouble again for being a fucking nonce. What would Marx have said about that? What are the material conditions?
Give me that shovel, non-compete! They were very, very non-utilitarian.
The point is, their ideology.
You call that digging? I can dig much deeper than you, boy.
How can you tell?
Because Jews don't actually control banks in the world.
There was a disproportionate number of Jewish control.
Oh god! Oh, there it is. Where we're now. I can feel the Earth's core bubbling in my crotch.
You don't have an ethical.
Yeah, thank you for agreeing to talk to me. I want to set this up by saying there is overlap between our audiences, and some of the people who watch your stream and watch mine have told me that I should reach out to you and talk to you, and they said you would be reasonable. I don't watch a ton of your content, so I'm taking their word for it and gonna talk. I want to talk to you in good faith, and I know that there has been what some might consider drama or beef going on between you, me, and Luna, and some other people developing for some time. So I just want to address that and give you the opportunity to respond to some questions and things like that. So does that all sound like what we kind of agreed to in the emails? Does that sound
my pleasure. No, this is a bit of a novelty for me. Normally when people disagree with me, they sort of just take shots on Twitter. I actually have a lot of respect for people who like hashing it out. Whatever my reputation might precede, I do actually enjoy just calmly talking about disagreements. But yeah, hit me up. You sent me an email the other day, and some people in chat were complaining like you put out a video shit talking me. But in the email, to your credit, you did say, hey, I'm going to put this video out.
This debate's actually only half the video. The rest is just him talking about it. Okay.
So don't interpret this as some kind of like sneaky, So yeah, I don't think they have anything to complain about.
Tactical anti-Semitism is a new low for you guys. Wait, what? Where's the tactical anti-Semitism coming from? What? Who's the tactical anti-Semite? What? From me, Chad face. Okay. Vaush fans. Okay.
Yeah, and then also, people have differences about what's appropriate and what's not. One of the reasons I put the video out before the conversation was because I wanted to kind of formulate my thoughts and have some sort of basis to speak on. So I do want to try to get your. Yeah, I want to give you an opportunity to respond to some of the things I said. I doubt you've had time to watch it because it was a very long video, and it's only been like maybe 11 hours since I.
In this debate, Vaush mentions large numbers of Jewish bankers in Weimar Germany. Like what? He like as an analogy or what? Like a quote or what? Like there were Jewish bankers in Weimar Germany. That's not the point. The point is whether or not that means Weimar Germany is being infiltrated by Jewish people and undermined, which is not true. That's the thing. It's the same way that like Nazis will be like, oh, look, Mark Zuckerberg and fucking Rothschild, all these rich people, they're all Jews. And it's like, okay, so what? That's what you don't have to say that like there are no Jewish people in the world who aren't very powerful. Yes, there are. That's not conceding to anti-Semitism. Conceding to anti-Semitism would be that the fact that some Jewish people have lots of power like has anything to do with their religion, right? Like Rothschild, like them being rich doesn't have that much to do or anything to do with their religion. Is that what he's? I would guess that's what he's coming from, right? Fuck. Let's see. Whatever. I'm just gonna wait and see what they say.
Loaded it. So
no, I'm afraid I have not. I saw some people in my community reacting to it. Some liked it, some didn't. You know, I'm known for having a disagreeable community, so I guess I'll see when I see.
Barbarians.
Wait a minute. Let me just. Okay, so all right, so yeah, I think we're all on the same page about that stuff. So the meta discussion, I guess, is out of the way. We can talk about the real issues.
Yeah, hit me up.
Okay, so there's three things, and I told you in the email, like 3 things I really wanted to kind of talk about, and the first thing is about, and I don't expect this to be a very long discussion. The first part, I wanted to just talk about the responsibility that we have as creators that have a large platform, right? So like. You and I both have pretty large platforms. I've got like over 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. You have, I don't know, what are you up to now? You're pretty big.
It's like 360, 370, somewhere there, I think.
Yeah, well, you have a ton of people watch your stream. I mean, you have very impressive numbers in terms of watching your live streams. So I think it's safe to say that we both have pretty substantial platforms. I guess the first question I would ask is just in general, do you agree with me that when somebody has a large platform, it comes with a certain responsibility?
He said this. Did this debate happen before or after the Vaush is a manipulative liar video? That was funny.
Yes.
Okay. I figured you'd agree with me on that. And do you also agree that part of that responsibility is trying to develop an understanding of your audience? And because, you know, your audience is not a monolith, my audience is not a monolith. There are different kind of like sort of divisions within every audience, right? So you kind of have to get to know your audience and understand how the different sections of your audience are likely to react, and just kind of be familiar with your audience, right? And so, I mean, do you agree with that? I guess I'll ask first.
I don't know if it's a moral obligation, but it's definitely a good idea.
Okay, yeah. Well, here's why I think that, I don't know about the word moral, but here's why I think it's important for people, especially doing political activity, you know, like discussing political topics and that sort of thing. I think it's important because obviously we influence our audiences, right? And if you were doing like unboxing streams or just like let's play videos or whatever, you know, I think that the degree of responsibility can vary. But when you're talking about political things, you're influencing people politically, and you also have to know that there will be like mutual impact. So like you might say things and then they'll go out and do things, and vice versa, right? So I guess that's the basis of my next question, which is, you must realize that because you debate people on the far right quite a bit, and because of the nature of what you do with your debate streams and that sort of thing, that there are a large number of right-wing people who watch your show.
I don't know if there are a large number of right-wing people who watch my show. There probably is a good number of politically undifferentiated people, but at least in the communities that I've seen and cultivated, my YouTube comments, my Discord, my Reddit, whatever, I think the closest right bent I have is an annoying group of liberals who insist on watching me. Apart from...
He must have, like, a lot of right-wing viewers. I have quite a few right-wing viewers, so I can't imagine how many he has. Like, surely.
From that, I don't think I have many hard right followers.
Okay, yeah, and I'm not. I don't want to use any like loaded terms like audience or followers or community. I just think that it stands to reason that if you're regularly having discussions with people on the far right, there will be some overlap between your audiences. Some of them are going to come over and like hate watch you, you know, like I even get hate watchers on my channel, so I know there's an element of that. But yeah, I guess my point is, if you know that there are right wingers, even if it's in law of large numbers, you have thousands of people that watch your stream. So even if it's like a small percentage of your audience, that's still going to mean there's like maybe hundreds of people, you know, that are fascist or racist watching. That's possible. I don't want to debate about the numbers or whatever, but I guess, okay, so I'm gonna move on to the next point of my platform here, and then I'll let you just totally respond to my point, because I'm almost done making my point. Mm-hmm. So if you have, if it's true that there are any right-wingers watching you, that's one thing. And then another way to know, I guess a metric of whether you have right-wingers or not, is how people engage after you've done something, right? So like if I make a video, I'm gonna try to gauge the outcomes. I'm gonna try to watch what people are saying on social media about it. I'm gonna go to Reddit and check that out. I'm gonna check the comments on my channel or whatever. And so what I've noticed, and a lot of people have noticed, is a pattern where whenever you talk about somebody who is, shall we say, marginalized, you know, black or trans or person of color or what have you, that there's a tendency for those people to receive a lot of kind of like after effect collateral damage in terms of harassment, threats, and other kinds of like, you know, disturbing attacks like that. Now, I've seen it happen with Luna because I'm married to her. We spend all of our time together. I monitor, I help her administrate her comments and that sort of thing. And I also know other people who have shown me similar results, you know. So I guess my first question is, are you aware of that, or would you deny that that's something that happens?
I think I'd mostly deny it. You know, there's a whole narrative about my community harassing people, but in spite of nearly 3 years of trying to track down the people actually doing this, I've yet to be provided a single piece of evidence of it actually happening. Usually the initial claim is some very severe, you know, Vaush community, you know, harassing, like really bad stuff, right? But then I get some screenshots, and it's usually people just being kind of mean, which I'm fine with. I have a problem with people being mean to people I don't like. I guess it's possible that this happens. It's just not something that I've been provided substantive evidence of. If it can be provided, I'll ban those people from my community. But yeah, outside of that, I don't think it's I just don't think it's that much of an issue.
Okay. Yeah. So okay, I guess I'm not going to press it too much farther. I will say that like this is the kind of thing that it's kind of hard to.
Who is EJ? You guys keep saying EJ. Who the fuck's that? That's neither of these guys, is it?
Substantiate.
Litigate and substantiate, right? Because like, so for instance, I can just tell you from my personal experience that, you know, since I literally look at Luna's comments every single day on her YouTube channel, I kind of get like, she does get racist comments every day, you know, and you know that that's probably true, just because any person of color, black person on the internet that's putting themselves out there and talking about politics is going to receive that kind of thing. So she does get those kinds of comments every day, but every time you've done a video where you talked about her, suddenly there's like a big uptick in the number of those kinds of racists and just terrible kinds of disturbing comments. And the only other time I've ever seen that happen, it's only happened twice before, and once was after we had the discussion with Destiny, and once was after the armchair historian and her had a little bit of a back and forth. And it's never ever happened again. Lots of other people have criticized Luna, but those are the only 3 examples. And so something tells me, it's just here, I guess let me put it this way. My instinct is there's something going on there, and if you think that that matters, I would encourage you to take it seriously and investigate it more on your own and see if you can find out more, and just keep that in the back of your mind, I guess, as you move forward when you talk about people who are vulnerable. Now, Luna is like, Luna and I are in our 30s, and we have each other, and we're stable, and the reason I'm not trying to preach at you, but I know that you're aware that there are people out there who are more vulnerable. There are people who are younger. There are people who have mental instability and might be inclined towards self-harm and that sort of thing. So I guess I'm just saying, from one big content creator to the other, it's something that I do, is try to be careful about how I cultivate my audience. I try to identify the strengths and strengthen those, and I try to identify weaknesses and negate those as much as possible over time. So I'm not trying to preach at you, but that's something I wanted to make you aware of, that's something that I've seen happening personally with Luna's audience. So
I saw that tweet from Luna where she screenshotted some groypers quote tweeting her and said that they were sort of insinuated that was a product of her mentioning or talking with me. I mean, I'm a large content creator. There are people who hate watch me. I also have oh wait, hold on. I'm getting some feedback from your end when I talk. Do you know what that might be?
Did it just start?
Or no, it's been happening. It's like a sort of static and like a gain pitch kind of.
Did that fix it at all?
Let me see. Talking. Yeah, okay, wait, I think that did. Yeah, okay. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I saw those screenshots.
I hope this conversation gets interesting, because right now it's like, okay, what?
Oh, people are saying my voice is too loud in your stream. I don't know if that's
probably just both problems simultaneously, I think. So.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Yeah, obviously, as a product of my size.
This is what I think about harassment. I've said this before online, and it's going to be a thing, all right? If you have a falling out with another streamer, and you, like, the problem is, I feel like streamers actually have to be verbally, like, more tame than their audiences. Because even if you're a streamer and you red light the harassment of someone who you've had beef with, and this is the behavior, then you'll still expect your audience, or you should still expect, hang on, fuck. If you red light some behavior, then you should still expect them to do a little bit of this, right? This is still going to happen. There's still, like, if you're a big enough creator, if you red light some behavior, there's still going to be people in your audience who will go out and do that shit, right? I'd imagine so. You can't control all of them, and everyone knows this. The problem then is, if you but it's just going to be less than if you green light that behavior. Okay? Like, obviously, if you greenlight harassment, then your audience will just go fucking batshit, right? But then the problem is, even if you, this is why I think streamers maybe have to have like a little bit more of a kind of like an angel on the shoulder complex, because if you amber light something, if you don't really want it to happen, but you're not fussed either way, you're probably still going to get more of it than you want. Like, regardless of what you do as a streamer, your audience are going to be worse than you because there's more of them. So if someone says like, I don't think you should harass this person, but I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. That's basically this, right? That's basically you are okay with this happening. Even if you red light behavior, you have to accept that it's going to happen sometimes. So you have to think about like, if you only want your audience to do this, then you have to red light completely. Anyway, the eggs of harassment, Drew.
Beefing with me is going to cause a lot of engagement, and there might be negative consequences to that for like marginalized people, because I'm broadly known on the right. I don't know if there's a way to directly attribute that to me. I know they're not my audience. I don't think I have a substantial griper audience in my beck and call. I just don't know if there's anything I can really...
This is very true, and why I never understood how, for example, Hands of Fakir will go completely apeshit at someone and properly shout at them and then call them an idiot and so on, and then go, oh, but don't harass them, guys. Like, viewers are going to emulate your energy. Yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, that probably sits in there, though, right? But I feel like I don't really know if you should, like, regulate your own anger towards someone. I don't know. That's difficult. That makes it more difficult.
Do about that, because at that point it's not even about my community, it's just about the size of my channel and exposure given to people that I disagree with. And we're working off tenuous connections as well. I mean, it could very well be that even if I was perfectly responsible with all my engagement, merely the act of being signal boosted to the level that one is when they engage with me would then increase the likelihood of that kind of negative attention. There's just, it feels like the link here is tenuous enough that I don't have a direct control over it, or really even an indirect control. The only solution would be, I think, to just not ever engage with, positively or negatively, any other figures who are marginalized, which probably wouldn't be good. That doesn't seem like a sustainable solution, I think.
Well, okay, there are a few things there. I guess I'll push back a little bit again. So the first thing would be, every time, there are some things you can do. Every time I talk about somebody who I disagree with who could be receiving that kind of, hate, like, I'm very careful to tell my audience, like, do not harass this person, blah, blah, blah. That will help with your actual audience, your community, the people that you actually, like, enjoy. But then also, I don't know, I think you could be more selective about some of the things that you say about certain...
Homonyms, I just denied that message because it's got a slur in it. I don't really want that. I know what you're saying, but I'm not going to, yeah. Say the same thing in a slightly less shit way.
People, because there have been instances, like with, for instance, when you talked about Luna, I don't think that calling her a useless stepchild of Vietnam, I think that might fan the flames of like racial problems. I'm not saying that you were intentionally being racist. That's not the point there. But I think that having that kind of super vitriolic statement could perhaps fan the flames. I think maybe when talking about people in marginalized positions, you could perhaps just stick to the facts and to the ideas more instead of bringing up the personal vitriolic remarks like that, calling them stupid, using ableist slurs and that sort of thing. I think that might be one way you can.
Wait, they're plugged into us, calling them ableist slurs. Damn, they know.
Control some of that. Do you like completely disown and denounce the people who have made racial comments about Luna since you made your stream about her?
Oh, anyone who makes racist comments towards Luna is either not a part of my community, or if they are, should be removed from it. I'm not a racist, and I don't tolerate racism on any of my platforms. If it really is like hate followers who are watching or simply responding to an increase in visibility, though, nothing I say will change anything. I mean, I could have a positive interaction. In fact, I know this because I have had positive engagements with people, marginalized people, either race, gender, sexuality, who then got harassment after talking with me, not just from the rest of the left for deigning to talk with me, of course, but just as a product of being made visible, So if that is the group responsible predominantly for the real vitriol, I don't think there's anything I could do other than be silent. In terms of like harassment from my community, like the tone that I set, I'm okay with it. I'm generally quite mean to conservatives or people that I don't like. I think that's okay. I think that the vitriol is sort of an essential component.
You don't think that when you said that Luna's a useless stepchild of Vietnam, that could, even if you didn't intend for it to have racial undertones, right? because intention here doesn't matter. I think you'd agree with me. It's the outcomes that matter. You don't think that that's the kind of thing that can stoke racially charged responses from people or encourage.
You can get that from criticizing China too, right? Like, I hate China, but if you talk about that long enough, folks who are actually racist are going to catch on.
You can
only
talk
so
about
much
how
you
you
can do
hate
about
China
that.
without calling somebody a useless stepchild of China, for instance. You know,
Well,
I mean, like,
if
that's
they
a
were
weird.
if they were a
say about
Chinese if they were a Chinese
What does that even
nationalist.
mean, a useless stepchild of Vietnam? I don't really understand what you're trying to say there.
Oh, I don't know. I threw out probably like 100 or 200 insults. I don't even remember the one you're saying right now. I'm sure
Okay, so
in
yeah,
context it was
you don't
very
remember
funny.
what you've said tells me you weren't being too careful when you talked about her as a
Okay,
individual.
now it's going.
Well, I can't
somewhere.
remember I can't
what I'm-
remember every insult I deliver over a whole stream. I mean, that's hours every day I'd have to log. I don't have that much storage space in my head.
I don't know. I think you could be careful. I think you could be more careful about how you talk about
Well, I
other
don't-
people. But
Well,
okay.
what you've said
Brett,
there.
I think this is going nowhere. So,
Well, I
do
just
you
want
have
to
anything
say
else you want to about
what
this?
you've said there. That doesn't cross my threshold for irresponsible treatment. I mean, obviously, and I'm not. This isn't an effort to poison the well. Obviously, you have a closer relationship with Luna than I do. That's kind of an
I
understatement.
do recognize that she's a person. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
part of being. You know,
Okay, here's a question for you, chat. A black nationalist in America is being shit, anti-Semitic, whatever, and you call them a useless child of Africa. That be okay, or not?
Right. Well, we're going to have different perspectives on an acceptable level of vitriol towards people that you don't like. I guess the thing that always weirds me out a little bit is I'm very mean to conservatives on my channel. Nobody seems to mind that much. But then when there are people on the left who have ideas that I think are just as pernicious, you know.
Okay, I'm sorry, chat. Well, have you found that Africa is a continent? Bruh. Black nationalists, like Pan-Africans, like, they're fucking descended of slaves. We don't know which African country they're from. I'm pretty sure if you say Africa, you're kind of making a pretty racial statement there, right?
All of a sudden, people, you know, they get very up in arms about it. I don't understand the double standard personally. I think that it's.
I can't speak to that because I don't have enough insight into or optics into that. So,
But do you think it's okay if I was? I'm just asking because I just want to know if it's a broad opposition or if there's kind of like a specific favoritism here. If I was doing a
Technically, white people live in Africa too. Yeah.
video on, like, I don't know, Ben Shapiro, and I was just throwing them out there, you know, all the insults, nothing anti-Semitic or whatever, but, you know, just insults. Do you think there's an issue with that vitriol, or do you think that's a fine thing
if
to
it's
do?
motivated by things like race and or being trans or whatever, then of course there's a problem. Even if, like, for instance, like, you know, like if there's if you're debating a conservative who was gay, and then you made some kind of comment that could be construed as referencing their sexuality. I'm not saying you did that. I'm speaking hypothetically. And then that person got harassed for being gay, even if they're conservative, I certainly wouldn't say that that's acceptable. You know what I'm saying? And I think that I'm saying you. I'm just saying the hypothetical you. A person who did that would have to take responsibility for the role that they played in that. And I think that when you're throwing out insults, you need to be thinking about the potential ripple effects that the words you use can have when you're talking to thousands of people.
Well, I think the ripple effect is, I suppose I dislike her, and I'm okay with people in my audience disliking her, but if the racial comments, like the racism, is really coming from, like, the Groyper hate followers, I just don't think there's a relationship between the language that I use, you know, this language at least, which is, I don't think, racialized, and the outcomes. Hold on, somebody linked the stepchild.
I think if you call so you could say that someone being a Chinese nationalist, and, you know, because, like, Chinese nationalism basically is like pro-genocide, so it's quite fucking far. But if you call someone, like an individual, a useless stepchild of China, then you might not mean that in a racist way. You might mean that as the anti-Chinese nationalist way. But that's kind of like an orange light around being racist to a Chinese person. Like, that's kind of, you're opening a door there for, like, it's again, like, you don't need to say the thing yourself. You just need to say enough for some people in your audience to take that and go with it. Yeah. I think you could probably do without that. Let's hear the comment.
I just want to hear it. It's 6 seconds. 1 second. Yeah, the modern Vietnamese government has produced little fucking stepchild bastard children like Luna Oi here. Yeah, the modern Vietnamese government has produced. Oh yeah, it's a comment on Vietnamese education producing like nationalist defenders. Yeah. So that would be like the stepchild comment.
What is the stepchild connection there?
Well, like
you know that she's 5 years older than you. I mean, I don't understand why you keep calling her a child, and it seems kind of.
But you can be in your 30s and still be someone's stepchild. What? Okay.
Like overly demeaning. I don't know what basis you have for that.
I'm okay with being demeaning. With the stepchild thing, when I think of like, it was like the redheaded stepchild kind of thing, like the idea that like you know, like a bunch of like sort of children running around, you know, it's like 20 of them, and you can remember the names of 16 or so.
Once you're over 30, you become the stepdad instead. Yeah.
You know, I think it's a salient critique of the way governments will sort of indoctrinate their constituents.
Could you not have made that point? You know, knowing what you know and knowing and being conscious of the way that certain people that watch your show, could you just not have made that point with a little bit less personal vitriol? I guess I just don't understand the. I don't.
But
I'm
okay with
I talk
the
to
vitriol
people all the time that I don't like, but I don't make weird comments about them like that.
I'm okay with the vitriol. Also, to be fair, I'm pretty sure Luna's been quite vitriolic to me for a while. Not
Luna
to say it's
talk
not
about you for months on end until you decide to do another stream about her. That's something I can tell you for sure.
Oh, sure. Not to say it's not mutual.
She doesn't go around talking about you all the time. It's always in self-defense. I mean, I have to say that I've been very keyed in on that.
I think there was at least one time she started something, but it doesn't matter. This isn't like a who started it type thing. I'm just saying that I think the vitriol certainly is mutual. I don't see an issue with being vitriolic. It's fine. If anything, you know, I'm working on maybe trying to be a little more vitriolic. I feel like the left online gives way too much of a pass to certain types of ideas.
How is this any different from people calling Vaush a Western chauvinist every day? Because if you call someone a Western chauvinist, you're probably not going to be green lighting an audience of racists towards them. I don't think that generally happens. Compared to if you do it to someone from Southeast Asia, like whilst in a very white space, like a very white dominated audience. It's still bad.
Some types of nationalism.
Why do you think that is beneficial?
What about calling him a... Yeah, you shouldn't call him a pedo. Yeah, obviously not. Fuck, stupid.
I mean, what do you think what end does that serve? I don't get it. I don't understand how calling somebody a useless stepchild of Vietnam serves any purpose.
Well, it was part of a broader like bit on the nationalism thing, but anti-nationalism is a strong component of leftist
like if you said Luna's a rabid nationalist or something, then like that would have a connection to what you're saying. I don't understand it. I don't.
It's the fact that you also use that like Vietnamese and like bastard child, like that's really. No, I'm saying it's bad because he's not a Western chauvinist. But fuck you. All right. Like, yeah, I think the whole point there is like, yeah, that like that use of terminology and all the connotations that go with bastard child and like a Southeast Asian person. Yeah, I think it's like there's very like, yeah, there's like a lot of racial overtone there.
See this? I don't feel like this conversation is going anywhere. I don't think that you're. I don't think you get what I'm saying. So
no, I understand what you're saying. You're saying that I was too mean. I just don't mind being mean.
It's not about me, and I'm using the personal situation of Luna because I'm familiar with that. But there have been a number of people have come forward and said that after you talked about them on stream, they got a lot of hate. And I'm just saying that if that were me and that were my audience and that were my platform, and somebody was saying that, I would take it very seriously and I would work very hard to do everything I could to decrease that as much as possible. No, you're saying that you want to go forward and be more vitriolic towards.
Well, the thing is,
we're talking about people of color, transphobic people, trans people, gay people, or whatever. You're saying you want to be more vitriolic to people who you disagree with, who are marginalized, not less vitriolic.
The main thing is that I do take it seriously, and having taken it seriously, I've only found evidence to take it less seriously. Because this has happened before, this basic pattern. And I always have it investigated. I have mods. I have a team.
It is a pattern of behavior.
I have a crack team, you know, and this always gets looked into. I can never find evidence of real harassment. Either it's just people being mean to them, which again, I'm totally okay with. And I don't
What
think
do you
that's
consider? I mean, like I don't know. What you don't think that if somebody's if a bunch of people are coming forward and it seems like a pattern behavior, because you said it's a pattern behavior and you're having to investigate it all the time. I mean, I don't have this problem. I don't have to go out launching investigations with like a crack mod NSA team to go do like investigations, because I'm not constantly hearing from people that when I talk about them on stream that they're getting a bunch of harassment over race and gender and sexuality and that kind of thing. But that's what I'm hearing people say about your audience. So what's the I don't know what the
it's a
difference
good
is
thing I
between my
investigated. Wait, hold on.
platform and
Somebody
yours.
just linked a tweet where Luna is essentially calling me a pedophile. I think I'm okay with the mean. I usually try to proportion it to my dislike for people. I feel like
I know the
Luna.
tweet you're talking about. Do you want to read the tweet and tell me exactly what it says? 'Cause I don't
Vaush
think
gets
she
kicked off
told
of
you about that,
platforms for saying cracker, but not for saying pedophilia can be good for children. Sick fucking world.
which is an exact quote that you said.
No, it's not.
You play the video that it's linked to. Tell me that it's not
The
a
video
direct
cuts
quote.
me off mid-sentence. It literally
I
cuts
didn't
me
say
off
cut
in
you off. You
between.
did
I
say
can't access this video because Bad Empanada has me blocked. Can someone find me that video so I can go incog and have a look at it?
that though. She referenced something you actually said.
It is possible.
Hold on.
You could defend yourself
For
and
an
say that
adult
that
and a
was
child
taken out of
to
context or
have a
whatever, but
sexual
she didn't
relationship.
call you a pedophile,
And, for it to
and
have
she was referencing
positive
something you actually said,
outcomes
which is a
on the
different
child
situation than being vitriolic towards people for absolutely no
So-
reason.
What's the context of that quote? Like, what? In the same way that someone says that my pain made me stronger. What? Okay, let's see. Am I about to? Oh, because he's got a fucking new account now. Nice one.
Okay? It is possible. Please right now, uncuck your dumb shit, libcuck fucking SJW brains and recognize this
damn it.
empirically correct fact that I am about to spit. It is possible for an adult and a child to have a sexual relationship and for it to have positive outcomes on the child as well. That is possible. Okay? It is possible.
Consequentialist brain. God, this is actually.
Okay, look,
All
this
right,
is
here we
super
go.
duper simple, okay?
Why are the clips like such low quality?
A utilitarianism, act utilitarianism, is about considering the consequences of a specific action, okay? It is possible, please right now uncuck your dumb shit libcuck fucking SJW brains and recognize this empirically correct fact that I am about to spit. It is possible for an adult and a child to have a sexual relationship and for it to have positive outcomes on the child as well. That is possible. However, categorically, we discourage those relationships because, as a rule, it is substantially more likely that enabling them would cause harm in society. That's the difference between act and rule utilitarianism. An act utilitarian would say, oh, this is an instance where it was good for the adult and the minor to have sex.
I don't know why. Okay, I get it. Well done. If you're going to explain rule consequentialism or rule utilitarianism, which is basically that you consider acts based on their consequences, but say, for example, you take a pure consequentialist and you tell them, if you murder your entire family, you might save another family, you might save 2 families from starving to death in fucking Africa, okay? And then someone might say, well, okay, what if this behavior was actually like normalized? What if it was actually okay to make the decision to murder one person to save multiple people? Like, would we actually like allow this? What would society look like if that was like a standard? And then you would probably say, no, we shouldn't do this. There are some times where even if the consequences of an act are like really fucking even if the consequences of an act are like completely positive, there are some times when there are rules that should be followed that should negate you from doing that. Yeah, that's it. I don't know why the fuck you can explain rule consequentialism so easily without talking about fucking child. Like, Jesus. but why can't I be edgy? Why can't I be edgy? All right, well, you're gonna be edgy. Okay. There could be a time where an incestuous relationship is the best relationship that two people might have. But as a rule, incestuous relationships are a fucking factory of abuse. They're hard to get out of because you're stuck with your family. They are very fucking like, it encourages that kind of like availability behavior. And it's probably better for society, almost definitely, that we still keep it illegal, because as a rule, any gains that might come from someone's incestuous relationship are just not worth the cons. Okay? Rule consequential based. Love it. Yeah, I don't know. Fucking Destiny does it as well. It's like, analogy, let's say that you rape 17 billion children. Okay. Just think of something, think of something better. Like, come on. Okay, LonerBox, as an incest survivor, why is that less yikesy and edgy than a pedo analogy? Because there is no circumstance where you can suggest that there is any kind of equal consent or power relation between an adult and a child. There's no circumstance. Whereas you can quite easily imagine an incredibly niche situation where where a 30-year-old brother and sister or brother and cousin, whatever, or like two cousins fucking just like each other, and they're not going to fucking create incestuous babies. Like, yeah, I think that's, yeah, of course that's different. What are you talking about? But you can still say that, like, even for the incest thing where it's easier to imagine a situation where it's not causing anyone any harm, it should still be, as a rule, off the table legally, right? Yeah, I wonder now that we've seen that context. I love it how, first of all, it was like pedo Vaush, whatever, but now that you've seen the context, it's anyway, Vaush uses pedo examples quite a lot. People use that shit because they're trying to shock their audience, or because they just want to see. It's that whole thing, like, oh, you know, if I can give if someone has a rule or some kind of like position, then I'm just going to give them the most extreme example of their position to see if they'll still hold it. Like, okay, yeah. But I think Vaush sometimes sees that being used, and probably Destiny as well, and are just more attracted to the shock than they are to the function of the shock. LonerBox, it's possible to gain valuable scientific knowledge by experimenting on slaves, but as a rule, do you see how it works? Yeah, okay, yeah. That's another one. But again, no, actually, Urist, tell you what, I'm gonna actually say that my incest example is still better, because again, there's not really any circumstances when you can think of gaining scientific knowledge by experimenting on slaves, because that's always one person getting harmed. Whereas you can, if you can even apply rule consequentialism to acts that can conceivably not cause any harm at all in certain situations, and you can still apply the rule very, very acceptably. Yeah. Anyway. Or just do the trolley problem. Yeah, okay. Where the fuck is the video? Did I lose it? Oh no. Oh no. God damn it. Fuck. All right. I can just look for it again, can't I? So Vaush, yeah, of course the Vaush example's bad. It's like, hello, I'm a really bad philosophy teacher today. Yeah, okay. It's a good thing he doesn't do that shit anymore. Nice.
Absolutely no
So
reason.
do you think
whatsoever.
that signal boosting misinformation with the intent of sort of painting a person as a pedophile isn't like, it's interesting that you would take issue with saying a person's a stepchild of the country that they're from, but the idea of like signal boosting disingenuous far right pedo jacketing that was literally cut off mid-sentence isn't itself bad faith or disingenuous. Like, that's really weird to me. I don't understand. Is it like a perceived vulnerability thing because my community is...
What is this? What is this tweet? White genocide debate that Dylan's reacting to. What? Okay. It's a white genocide debate. Bruh.
There is a power differential, for one thing. That is true. But also, that's not the only thing. The other thing is, she wasn't just talking about you. She was talking about the way platforms work. I think that you would agree that getting kicked off for saying cracker was ridiculous, right? Do you agree with that?
I would agree that calling me a pedophile is being vitriolic. I don't think there's any working around that.
She didn't call you a pedophile. She didn't call you a pedophile.
Non-compete. Come on.
She did it. She said that what she said that she thinks.
Okay, okay. Non-compete's being a fucking asshole right now because, like, we all see that Vaush wasn't explicitly racist to Luna, but he definitely said something that could easily be picked up by racists within his community. Or, yeah, he sees that. If you see that, you can absolutely see that saying that tweet from Luna was calling him a pedophile. Sorry. Nah.
What you said in that clip.
Actually, Vaush is wrong there as well then. Because he should be seeing the way that using terms like bastard child Vietnamese might be taken up by people who are slightly racist towards Asians. What would you have done if you were in Vaush's position in this debate? So, after I've said bastard fucking Chinese Vietnamese, if I'd said that, I would just say sorry. I'd say that's a really horrible thing to say. Shit. Like, I don't like this person, but I could have said something. Like, I could have easily critiqued someone's nationalism in a better way than that. Yeah, I'd just say that. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Really, like, actually quite sorry. If anyone in my community is gone with that, then, make sure I ban them on Discord, blah, 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 unfollow them Twitter, yeah.
Is worse than saying cracker.
I mean, if you cut together a bunch of words spliced from different streams and arranged
People
them...
are like this, though. People will notice dog whistles right away when it's someone they don't like doing it. Or when it's happening to them. Remember a really, really long time ago? Where I obviously jokingly, linked Count Dankula to the BNP, to white supremacy. He spends fucking 40 minutes owning me in a fucking, you think I'm a fascist? Well, actually, if you watch these clips, I am not. Okay, I was joking. And he is the most obtuse motherfucker on earth when it comes to dog whistles if it's about the right. But he knows exactly what they are when they're happening to him. Yeah, I was very not subtly dog whistling that he was a BNP person as a joke. Yeah. And he didn't get it. So, yeah, this happens all the time. People because both people here are recognizing the subtext when it's happening to them.
Them in a way to implicate.
Do I think that Vaush said about Luna was a dog whistle? Not intentionally. Definitely not. I think if you're being very charitable, you can interpret it as not a dog whistle at all. But you have to remember that when you've got hundreds of thousands of followers, there are people in your audience who will take that terminology and that combination of words and easily interpret that as a racial attack. Yeah. The same way, did you notice that Luna never called Vaush a pedo? But everyone looking at that tweet kind of knows that she is saying that. That she might as well be. All right.
me and then
Look,
looked at that and said, huh, look at that. That's interesting. That wouldn't technically be calling me.
I don't know what to say. I can just tell you that to me, there's a difference between quoting what somebody actually said in a specific context when you're commenting on a platform versus calling somebody
actually quoting me,
stepchild of Vietnam.
It's not quoting
which is really just an insult based on the fact that she's Vietnamese. That's the only tangible piece of evidence about her identity that you addressed, or even you didn't address her positions. You addressed like you didn't call her a nationalist. You called her a stepchild of Vietnam.
In a section where I was hold on, this would be a lot easier for you if you didn't form your opinions based exclusively off the Twitter clips. In the whole video, where you can find the section. No, I'm talking about the stepchild thing. I have an opinion on whether or not I'm a pedophile, and it's that the people who go out of their way to call me.
Do you think that a racist could have taken any words that Vaush used to insult Luna? Yeah, like of course, but we're talking about like how encouraged they feel by Vaush's words, right? That's what I'm imagining. Like what one of these people would do, right? Because if you just attack nationalism, then that's the opposite, right? You're attacking nationalism, but saying bastard child of Vietnam. Of course, that's got so many overtones. It's got overtones of like eugenics and like half breeding, all this shit. Yeah, fucking hell. God damn it. Whereas this like nationalist or like even like whatever fucking apologist for the CCP and all that shit, then yeah, of course you can. That's a bit harder because that's like anti-nationalist. That's the kind of language a racist wouldn't like. Bastard stepchild of America would be funny. Yeah, well, unfortunately, racism has power relations. Yeah.
One, because they can't address my real.
The beginning of the quote is that the government creates these people. Okay, yeah.
Arguments are bottom feed.
Yeah, that's why I'm not saying that what Vaush was saying was as bad as Luna with the pedo thing. The pedo thing was a lot more clear cut. I just think Vaush could have done he just could have done without the bastard child of thing. That's it. You can talk about the Vietnamese government and all that shit all you want, but like the nation state and all that. But like, yeah, I just think the words bastard child have like a really. Would anyone care if someone called Jackson Hinkle a bastard stepchild of Syria? Well, no, because he's not fucking Syrian. He's not Middle Eastern. Of course not.
Eating scum. And I really like the idea that
that would be so funny to call Jackson Hinkle a bastard stepchild of Syria. Yeah. But even better would be a bastard stepchild of Assad. Wouldn't that be great? Like a little fucking media propagandist fail son. You don't even need to mention Syria. Just say Assad. It's better when you don't put in the country, actually. Juggernaut Shingles. Gibson Blinkle. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. The idea that people would complain about vitriol. I mean, not even about like the arguments used, right? But like,
can I like look, hey, like all of you, you're so original. God, your fucking brains should be like sold on the fucking black market and exchanged for people's entire families. Sorry, it's fine to call Vaush a bastard stepchild of California. Can I call Vaush a bastard stepchild of Beverly Hills? Okay, yeah, well done. Hey, all of you, every single one of you, do it more. Yeah. Is it okay to call me a bastard child of Scotland? Oh no, got him. Dead in the water. Fuck. Swole brains in this chat. All of you. You should turn professional. Plus you're all white.
In terms of vitriol. And what? Because I made a joke about her being a nationalist?
And bastard childs of LonerBox.
Like, is stepchild like a slur now? This concern totally me. I don't
Vietnam
get it.
Did mention her nationality, which is I don't have her ethnicity.
I think she's a Vietnamese nationalist. Yes, stepchild of Vietnamese propagandizing education. Sure, yeah, that's fine. I don't even think that's particularly vitriolic. I'm pretty sure I said worse stuff.
All right, we're really just going.
Is it okay? Here we go. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one. Is it racist to call Vaush a bastard stepchild of destiny?
Around in circles now. So I don't know. I have nothing else to say about this. Do you have anything else to say?
No, I suppose
that-
not.
Okay. Do you want to talk about anything? I have a few other questions.
Yeah, well, there were 3 topics that you mentioned. Hold on, I didn't have the email up. Get that.
Pete Dandleton, since when is it originality a requirement for this chat? Excuse me, I'll have you find that my chat is fucking on it. That's why I'm angry at them for doing the but Beverly Hills. That's the same as calling someone a bastard child of Vietnam. Yeah, that's why. I hold them to a higher standard. I need fucking top toxicity from this chat. Yes, they are actually original. They're all funnier than you, every single one of them. And they've got bigger dicks and they're less white than you.
Well, you said the first one was on targeting marginalized people. And the second one was a perceived lack of understanding of Luna's video and of dialectical materialism. And then the third one was the dishonest rhetorical tricks I use in my discussions. And I'm happy to talk about either or both, if you'd like.
Okay. So I think that in your video, so specifically just focusing on the stream you had about Luna, now because you said that, people that don't address their opinions, blah, blah, your actual positions. I feel like you spent 2 hours, you call people who don't address your actual positions bottom feeding scum. You spent
and call
2
me
hours.
pedophiles. That's the part that bothers me.
Well, categorically, Luna did not call you a pedophile. She said,
Bro, no, stop doing the thing.
She quoted something that you said,
Wasn't
and
a quote.
I do happen to agree. I don't think there's any situation where an adult can have a sexual relationship with a child, and it has a positive outcome. So
if you had actually seen the full bit that was clipped from, then you would agree. You saw the full bit, not just the Twitter bit,
yes,
but the full thing in which I was constructing
your
a rule
foundation was that there can be some situations where an adult and a child can have a positive outcomes. You didn't say. Anyway, it's totally immaterial.
No, it's important. So in a consequentialist sense, you can easily construct a situation where essentially anything is fine. I'll ask you, just follow through with me 30 seconds,
no,
then we'll be done.
I'm not.
Why doesn't he just use an example where it's like there's no harm being done at all and it's just positive, but you can still apply real consequentialism to it? I don't know. I shouldn't be allowed to ever talk about philosophy again, though, because I've made many.
Yeah, the modern Vietnamese government has produced little fucking stepchild bastard children like Luna Oi here.
Yeah, it sounds a bit racist. Jesus. Okay, I know.
Idealist. I'm not going to talk about hypotheticals that don't have any bearing on material reality.
That is. Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. First of all, we're not talking
hypothetical situations where adults can molest children and it has a positive outcome.
You're the one talking. Wait, hold on. First of all, Marx was a philosopher. It's not idealism. Wait, no, hold on. Wait, you can't move away from this. Okay, hold on. I'm not letting you paint me like this and then run the fuck away. Wait, hold on. Wait, you have to stop talking for 1 second, okay? Hold on. So imagine, all right? Imagine aliens come down to Earth, and they say,
"This is absolutely ridiculous, Vaush."
You've lasted 6 seconds so far.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Come on.
Okay.
Aliens. This is as hypothetical idealism as you can get. You're literally just.
What does idealism have to do with hypotheticals? That's not how idealism works.
Like
you're like a honeymoon virgin. You gotta last longer than 6 seconds. Just give me a second, okay? Did I not let you talk for a long time when you were establishing your premises? Come on.
I'm not going to talk about hypotheticals with
you. You don't have to. You don't have to talk. You just have to listen.
You
just have to listen, okay? Now you can imagine a situation in which aliens come down to Earth, and they say, "We're gonna blow up the whole planet unless you kill this innocent kid." Now, in a consequentialist sense, killing that innocent kid... Right, I know, right? So follow through.
Okay, if anyone... this is such a loss. Like, it's such a simple concept. This is a better concept. This is a much better way to explain real consequentialism. It's a shame he didn't It's a shame you didn't use that one the first time, eh?
So in a
Would Luna clip that and say that Vaush thinks it's okay to blow up to kill children?
consequentialist
Okay.
in a consequentialist, I know an inability to grasp philosophy is one of my biggest issues with Luna. It makes sense that
It's
it would apply to both of
idealism.
you. That's
It's
not what I
idealism.
This isn't
this
idealism.
philosophy and
Bro.
idealism aren't the same thing. Those don't mean the same thing. You can
No,
Wikipedia them.
you're basing you're constructing hypothetical situations that have no bearing in reality
Hypotheticals aren't
whatsoever.
wait, do you think an idealism is when you construct a hypothetical? Do you think those mean the same thing? You're going to lecture me on dialectical materials.
Why do you guys keep atting me even though you're not saying it? It's a worse example because rule and act utilitarianism have the same outcome here. Wait, they don't though, do they, Sublime K? Because rule consequentialism would mean you don't kill the child, and act utilitarianism is that you do kill the child. Am I wrong? Am I stupid? Is this real?
There's
Realism,
no
you're
point
struggling
in
on
having
this.
this discussion is my point.
Can you answer that question? Do you think idealism means when you construct a hypothetical? Have you read
If you
Capital?
construct a
It's full of
hypothetical
hypotheticals.
that has nothing to do with reality, and you think that that gets you closer to the truth, that is idealism, because you are making the ideal.
Because the point is, it's like, it's not directly the hypothetical itself. It's just, okay, what would the world be like if people actually made decisions like this? If they actually considered like murder, like if they considered murder okay if it led to better outcomes, then that's where I think like that's where the rule consequentialism, not just like not that hypothetical exactly, but you use that to introduce the concept of someone violating like what should be unbroken rules, even if they think the gains are better.
Conscious processes of thought, your basis for truth.
Idealism is
And
not
I'm
when you
a materialist, and my basis.
Someone in here that Vaush is wearing his own shirt and NonCompete's wearing his own shirt. Step up your game. Excuse me, I will have you find that this hoodie was bought for me by a simp. This is a hoodie that one of my fans, who has since become a dear friend actually, liked my shit so much that they bought me this this hoodie. Bruh. That's the fucking branding Chad flex right there. Eventually all my clothes will just be shit that people have bought for me from. I'm not going to have a LonerBox merch. Never do it. No way.
I see the issue. You think idealism is when you think, which is why you don't. Listen, if you read Das Kapital, okay, you'll actually find hypotheticals. They're actually kind of ubiquitous. Look, anyway, and
that's true. Das Kapital. Fucking focus, you cunt. It won't focus. Has lots of hypotheticals, all right? Let's explore some of them right now, right? I know this because I've read this so many times that the spine is fucking falling to bits, right? All right, that's it. Look, here's one. Let's say that you crash land on an island, and there are coconuts, and there's a guy who wants his dick sucked. Who could have... Let's say, hypothetically, that there's a shitload of child porn. And they've told you that all human suffering will end if you watch and enjoy all of it. Okay, no, sorry. I don't know. Because as a rule, consequentialist. Fuck. Jesus. All right.
Grounded in reality, though. They're grounded in actual things that happen.
So just let's finish the point. We can move on if you let me talk for 10 seconds, okay? So in that situation, you could argue consequentially
Fuck, is Mr. Girl in my DMs already?
that the outcomes would be good to murder that innocent child because the earth doesn't get blown up. Then, because the Twitter bit cuts me off literally mid-sentence, you follow on from that point to talk about how a rule utilitarian could have a categorical opposition to the murder of children in spite of that. The whole argument was one against the predation of children, but far-right people like to clip me out of context because it's easier than debunking me. That's it. That was it.
Okay. All right. That is idealism, though.
That's not what idealism means.
Bro.
It is.
Mate,
when you think that you can find any truth.
Why the fuck does every time someone says read theory, they haven't read any theory. They haven't done it. It's impossible. They don't exist. No one on earth who has ever uttered the words sincerely read theory in an argument has read any theory. They don't know anything. They don't know what idealism is. They don't know what dialectical materialism is. They don't know what the fucking words of Das Kapital are. They don't know who Lenin is. They don't exist. Never.
That brings you like when if you use a hypothetical that's grounded in reality, then that's
not. This isn't what idealism means. This isn't. It's not. You don't know what that term means.
Well, what do you think idealism means?
So, do you mean idealism like in relation?
You know what I like about this chat is it's actually something I've thought for a very long time. More people in the chat laughed at the coconut joke than the CP joke. And that's good because shock humor is actually like kind of shit. Like, it's not good. The worst period for Frankie Boyle was like 2010, 11, 12, where he was just being disgusting.
Relationship to materialism in the dialectical sense, like dialectical idealism versus dialectical materialism, because the Hegelian concept has nothing to do with the construction of hypotheticals.
No, it doesn't. But it does. But no, it does. It does. So yes.
Is this Surfs? Quiet. Stop talking. Don't get me in trouble. Hey. I mean, 3 streamers have watched it already, and one of them is Destiny. So yeah, I hope. Yeah, I'd like to think that if Destiny has been fucking like hate watching Vaush for the last 3 or 4 months and not been in trouble. Despite you can do the petulant. Yes, Surfs. Excuse me, and as soon as everyone else jumps off a bridge, of course I will do it. Why the fuck wouldn't I? You want to leave me on my own? Like, I know, yeah. Shit. Oh well, I'm enjoying it too much. We'll just see what happens. Mprogs with the Prime subscription. Thank you so much. Welcome to the chat, Surf. Nice to have you here.
It does, because idealism is the position.
This is actually like the best content react I've had in a while as well. I'm really enjoying this.
That the basis for finding truth, and this actually does move towards what I wanted to talk to you about, so I'm fine with talking about this now.
By the way, Surfs, I'm glad to have you here, and thank you for notifying me on the risks of streaming this. Also, I hope you'll stick around for the Lord of the Rings stream. Fair use, all 3 episodes.
Because I do think you misunderstand the difference between materialism and idealism, and I think you don't understand the relationship between Hegel and Marx and Engels, and I don't think that you understand the difference between historical materialism and dialectical materialism. So these are all things I did want to ask you about. So,
no, don't do it.
So Hegel's whole dialectic, and the problem that Marx and Engels had with Hegel, was that he sought truth on the basis of the ideal and consciousness. Okay. Marx and Engels broke with that, and they thought that the material world and objective sense data, empirical sense data, is the primary basis for truth.
Yeah.
But they were not empirical.
This is not an anti. That's not an argument against the use of hypothetical arguments. Mate, pal, buddy, gadget. Stop doing it.
Empiricists, they were not.
Yeah, Hegel's last words in his deathbed were, fuck, no one's understood any of my work.
Positivists, meaning
Captain Terrible with a gifted tier 1 sub to Kevin Logan. Thank you.
they didn't think you could only find truth in sense data.
Your concerns are noted, Kevin Logan. This is actually Gordon Ramsay, and that's him. That's Gordon Ramsay reacting to the Marvel universe.
Empirical data.
And this is all fair use because I'm pausing every 3 seconds.
Okay. Do you agree with all of those things I just said, or do you know those things?
No, I don't think that's correct. I think that's simplified in some respects and incorrect in others.
All right. Well, just tell me what you think idealism is, Vaush.
The dialectical disagree. So first of all, idealism is a philosophical tradition dating back millennia. What you refer to as ideal, like, I don't know, there are like 20 different kinds of idealism depending on where you're pulling from. The juxtaposition usually posed against what Marx wrote was Hegelian dialectical idealism, which was the idea that social advancements, that ideas that human civilization was moved forward as a product of the antagonisms which arise in people's thoughts as they have competing values and virtues which fight against each other, and you achieve synthesis.
Wait, does that mean having this debate, if it's antagonisms that happen in people's thoughts, in people's heads, doesn't that mean that non-compete's engagement in this debate is idealist? Because what they're not doing anything material. Bruh.
Which is ideally an advancement of the idea, right, of the concept.
Okay, yes.
And non-compete isn't thinking, so it doesn't count.
Marx
Can I
is...
stop you for one moment?
Sure.
Can I stop you for a moment? Okay. So an example of that, I think, and one of the big problems we have on the left today, and a problem that I've seen you have in your discussions, is that we have these hypothetical discussions about what we should do or shouldn't do, or after the revolution, will this happen or will this exist, and blah, blah, blah. And we construct hypothetical scenarios about the future, and then we think that that's what we should base all of our praxis and activism on. So in other words, we come up with the ideas first, which Engels described as utopianism, Marx and Engels described as utopianism, and then we think like, okay, we've got this perfect vision for where we want to be. Now we have to get from here to there, and we have to dogmatically stay that course. That would be, would you agree that that's an idealist basis for?
Nope. Let's see. I mean, that is kind of, that what you just described there is kind of like, yeah, that's idealism. I'm going to think that there's like a really, oh yeah, here we go. I knew this. Yeah, fucking banditry. Where is it? Banditry. Look, here's Marx being a fucking massive idealist. This is an argument about the aristocracy. The aristocracy cannot be given the form of law because they are formations of lawlessness. No one's action ceases to be wrongful because it's his custom. Just as the bandit son of a robber is not exonerated because banditry is a family idiosyncrasy. This bandit, this son of a robber, is made up. He doesn't exist. Marx, cuck idealist. Just inventing things in his head that don't exist.
Moving a movement forward, a political movement.
I think it's utopian, but I don't think it's a dialectically idealist concept. I think you could frame that belief system through dialectical materialism just fine.
You could frame that system through dialectical materialism. Frame a utopian system? Or what do you mean? I don't understand what you mean.
Dialectical materialism.
I'm going to do an even better one. Sorry. I actually forgot that I actually used to read a lot of Marx. Where is it? Is it here? No, it's from chapter 15. Where is it? That's a link that Doe gave me a long time ago. Okay. So, non-compete is basically saying that, like, tensions among people's thoughts are idealist, and it's like rejected. It's a binary. It has to be material rather than idealist. So, let's have a look. Chapter. This is why you don't just read the fucking sociology spark notes of a writer. Where the fuck are the footnotes? Fuck you, Marxist.org. I hate you. I think they're at the end of the chapter, aren't they? Why are they not at the bottom like they should be of the page? Ugh. Let's just say... Oh god, the footnotes aren't even there. Ugh. Is it here? Here we go. Okay. All right. Four. Okay. Here it is. It's a footnote, but I remember it very well. And I've just lost it because I zoomed in. Okay. So here it is. Before his time, spinning machines, although very imperfect ones, had already been used, and Italy was probably the country of their first appearance. A critical history of technology would show how little any of the inventions of the 18th century are the work of a single individual. Hitherto, there is no such book. Darwin has introduced us in the history of nature's technology, the formation of organs, plants, animals, which organs serve as instruments of production for sustaining life. So this is about, it is not the history of the productive organs of man, of organs that are the material basis of all social organization, deserve equal attention. So he's talking about the way that history is propelled by material tensions and material material factors. So, and would not such a history be easy to compile since, as Pico says, human history differs from natural history in this that we have made the former but not the latter. Technology discloses man's mode of dealing with nature, the process of production by which he sustains his life, and thereby also lays bare the mode of formation of his social relations and of the mental conceptions that flow from them. Every history of religion, even, that fails to take account of this material basis is uncritical. You notice how he's putting mental conceptions as one of the variables that propels society. I don't get this, because non-compete is basically saying that what happens in your mind doesn't actually, like, matter. And discourse, and he's almost like talking as if it doesn't matter, but of course no one actually believes this, and neither did Marx, because even Marx, as a materialist, spent his whole life trying to inspire people towards revolution, trying to change people's minds, trying to educate people. Why would you do that if you thought that idealism, that what's in people's heads didn't matter? He's clearly saying that if you want to change the world, the thing that he chose to try and change was people's minds. I don't know. Hey, I would say read theory, but people who say read theory haven't actually read any theory, so I can't say read theory. Yeah.
Is only a mode of analysis. It's a theory to explain the movement, the evolution of human behavior, society, social developments. You know, you could apply it to anything. You can analyze any system, any society through the lens of dialectical materialism. It doesn't have to be. There isn't like a dialectically materialist way of doing a thing, you know, outside the process of analysis. You can't like make a civilization and go like, this time we'll do it dialectically, materially.
The point is that you're putting the cart before the horse if you say this would be a perfect society, and you know, a priori you will find out through praxis what works and what doesn't. That was a big important thing that Marx and Engels pointed out, was that you can only find truth through practice and praxis.
I'm not a utopian. I agree that it is dumb to conceptualize an ideal society and then
so when you conceptualize things with aliens and things that don't happen on planet Earth, that's a useless rhetorical strategy.
Oh my god, this is what you were running back to? No, okay.
Yes.
It's so fucking different. I'm trying to think of another Marx quote. What's the quote where Marx said, like, imagine a world where, yeah, okay, here it is. Look what he's doing. Okay, this is so perfect. Oh my god, German ideology, right? For as soon as the distribution, yeah, wait, is it? Yeah. For as soon as the distribution of labor comes into being, each man has a particular exclusive sphere of activity. I need music if I'm going to quote Marx because it's kind of dry. Let me see. Let me get some bedroom pop. Ah, For as soon as the distribution of labor comes into being, each man has a particular exclusive sphere of activity, which is forced upon him and from which he cannot escape. He is a hunter, a fisherman, a herdsman, or a social critic, and must remain so if he does not want to lose his means of livelihood. While in communist society, where nobody has one exclusive sphere of activity, but each can become accomplished in any branch he wishes, society regulates the general production and thus makes it possible for me to do one thing today and another thing tomorrow, to hunt in the morning, fish in the afternoon, rear cattle in the evening, criticize after dinner, just as I have a mind without ever becoming hunter, fisherman, herdsman, or critic. Fucking idealist cuck pig bitch boy. Read theory, Marx. Fuck you.
So, no. Let me explain. Please listen. This can be instructive, okay? There is a massive difference between framing your pragmatic advocacy for a political system based on a utopian vision of a future that you don't have material conditions to account for, and the construction of a hypothetical to illustrate the dynamics of a moral system. If you read Capital, I promise you will find hypotheticals that are very outlandish.
Hold on. Your whole thing, you believe that you can construct a moral system where you can, beforehand...
I didn't construct it. It's just rule utilitarianism.
You can't... The material conditions determine what is morally acceptable and what's not. When the French resistance were blowing...
This is what happens when you become one of those fucking idiots who just learns Marx for 1 week in college, learns that, oh, Marx was a materialist. He just thought that everyone was basically programmed by the pre-existing conditions of society, and that's it. Therefore, revolution is inevitable not because of the choices people make, but because of the material conditions that propel people towards it. That's it. You become one of these fucking stupid, what's the word? Oh, God. One of these brain-dead fucking acolytes who goes there and just thinks, this story in the news, Prince Andrew fucking getting in trouble again for being a fucking nonce. What would Marx have said about that? What are the material conditions dictating, I believe, about this legal case? That's what you become. You become a fucking tunnel-visioned fucking shithead who can't have an opinion unless you've read some fucking, Marx 3.7b opinion on what Marx would have to say about video games. And then to the point that you hear someone making a moral philosophy, like a hypothetical and moral philosophy, and saying that you can't do that because the material conditions. What does that even mean? I don't even think if you take Marx at the most dogmatic, I don't even think that works. I don't even think it works in the world that he's imagining it does. The material conditions dictate the morality, and therefore you can't teach people about different moral perspectives. What? Even if that were the case, wouldn't the multitude of moral frameworks that we choose from be dictated by the material conditions, but we still choose which ones? Wasn't this why Marx didn't like the word Marxism as a term? Not specifically, but yeah, he did see French, it was French activist groups who called themselves Marxists, and he said, if that's Marxism, then I'm not a Marxist. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I'm not going to take Vaush's full side in here because I think he could have done better with the whole bastard child thing, absolutely, but oh my God, NonCompete is so fucking stupid. He actually makes me he's the reason that I don't bother to bring up Marx in my videos very often. Why I don't want to bother teaching people about what I've learned from Marx, because there's no point. Anyone who because 90% of the people who want to call themselves Marxists or read about Marx just they want it they're only doing it because they want to be fucking acolytes. That's it. Karl Marx was a ratchet ass hoe. God. All right.
Nazis, that was okay
because
of the material conditions they were in. right? Do you agree with that? But it's not always okay to just go blow people up.
No,
like there
those
are certain
are
material conditions where it's acceptable and somewhere it's not.
Those have nothing to do with each other. No, I'm not a moral relativist. Wait, do you think...
Cervantes, you are being so generous right now. The only book they read is Capital over and over. No, I'm sorry, brother, you don't know these people. These people have not read Capital. Are you fucking joking? Everything he said, NonCompete has said in relation to Marx is like spark notes. That's all he said. He's read the fucking PowerPoint presentation. He hasn't read the Communist Manifesto. No, I absolutely, no, I deny it. Dead. No way. Why did I say dead? I'm not an improviser. All right.
Slavery was moral because back then people thought it was moral?
That's exactly the opposite of what I'm saying.
The material conditions of 16th century
slaves.
Agriculture demanded the existence of slavery. Do you think that's moral then? Like, what?
That's my point. Is that it has? That I believe my morality stems from dialectical. Like, so let me put it this way.
But dialectical materialism isn't a moral system. It's just an analysis of history. Those aren't okay. These are the people who criticize my philosophy, man.
Here's where you're wrong, because you are conflating empiricism and positivism and determinism with dialectical materialism.
No, that's what Loner was doing.
One of the important things that Marx and Engels pointed out, Vaush, is that through conscious activity, we can impact the material world and we can make changes.
Then why are you attacking idealism? If you know that, why were you against a hypothetical? I guess that's probably because he heard some other Marxists say that, and now he can't juggle he thinks the two are both equally valid.
And so, for instance, people can liberate themselves by developing mass movement.
He's the guy that reads the Bible and follows the stuff that contradicts the other stuff. That's what he's just done.
But they have to develop them with an understanding of the material processes of reality. If you try to develop, so for instance, of course, all poor people don't want to be poor anymore, right? But if you have false consciousness and you don't have a firm grasp on how material processes work and how the world actually develops and how things can develop and how applying your consciousness to material conditions will develop reality. If you don't have that, then you will fail and fail and fail again. That's why Engels and Marx wrote Socialism, Utopian, and Scientific, because they wanted to stop they were organizers, they were activists, they were actually going out, they were members of groups, they were doing things, and they had praxis, and they were so tired of having hypothetical conversations with people.
There's a difference between opposition to constructing a hypothetical entirely and opposition to the idea of basing one's entire political advocacy off of hypotheticals and nothing else. But that's because pragmatic advocacy for a political system and ethical systems are two different things. Hypotheticals are the only things that you can really use to construct a normative ethical system, because you have to isolate, because first of all,
where are you getting this information from? Or is this something you just came up with, or what is this? What are you talking about?
What would Marx have to say about this subject that I'm not familiar with?
Okay.
I read it from a book.
Constructing an ethical system, or I guess learning to understand one.
Wait, what's an ethical system? What's a moral system?
A normative process by which you determine whether an action or a person is good or bad. In my case, an action, because I'm not a virtue ethicist.
Okay. And do you think that you can make one moral system that applies in all conditions, or what are you talking about?
Yeah, the goal would be to construct a normative ethical system that's universally applicable. It is a constant subject of debate in philosophy.
That's idealism.
That is not idealism.
That's not idealism. What's the thing where you think that consequentialism works here, but other things virtue ethics works here? Is it particularism? Is it? I think it is. Because it's different from universalism. The word that non-compete's looking for is universalism. Here we go. The belief that ideas and practices the belief that ideas and practices can be applied everywhere without modification, while particularism is the belief that circumstances dictate how ideas and practices should be applied. Cultures with high universalism see one reality and focus on formal rules. Okay, yeah. Moral situationalism. Okay, there we go. But we can't, unfortunately. I don't know if we can mention that though, because maybe I can't think of any Das Kapital quotes off the top of my head where Marx mentions those words. He probably does though. He did philosophy. That was that his degree? He definitely did philosophy in like early in his life.
No, that's not what idealism means.
It is, because you're saying that you can hypothetically construct, you're saying that like if you sat down and thought hard enough, you had a big enough piece of paper and you wrote down enough if-then Boolean logic statements, you could construct exactly what is morally correct in any given situation in your mind.
Well, the difficulty usually isn't whether something is good.
Wait, I'm pretty sure that Marx was universalist because he said he appeals to the species being. The innate, the innate drive of human nature to be free and to be creative and to be expressive and to, that's, Marx is actually doing the thing that, he is being a universalist, isn't he? I'm pretty sure that was his like ethical framework, was the universal freedom of, oh my God. I fucking hate this person. I hate him so much. Why is he talking to people and saying things? Like, if you Google it, you get that. So he's definitely universalist on his theory of society. Like, okay, obviously, but on the moral level, like, so as a, what's the fucking thing? Not normative, descriptive. On a descriptive level, he's absolutely universalist, but then on a normative, Yeah, I don't, God damn it. He's pre-prepared for someone. Non-compete is basically like that dialectical materialism discussion is something that you only have pre-prepared for someone who thinks that, as if everyone thinks the right way, then the world will get better. That's it. That's the actual level that he's prepared to engage with. He can only engage with someone who thinks that, someone who thinks that like, we have to change people's minds and then they change the world. That's it. That's the only argument he's prepared to have.
Or bad. It's whether or not we can assemble all the necessary information to determine whether or not it's good or bad. Like hypotheticals are the easy isolating factor.
That's what Marx and Engels, that was their big breakthrough. That's what made them, they synthesized empiricism and positivism of people like Hume and Ricardo and Smith and the idealism of Hegel. And they
synthesized positivism and empiricism with people like Ricardo and Hume and Smith. Ricardo and Smith were both empiricists. Fuck this guy. I fucking hate him. Oh my God. He's actually like, I'm so angry. I want to cry.
Realized that there's actually this dialogue.
Am I about to find out that I don't know anything about Hume? Am I about to find out that Hume was an empiricist as well? I have a feeling that he was. I don't know why. Marx synthesized empiricism with Hume. Brother. Oh God. Listen, there are two kinds of people in this world, right? There are Immanuel Kants and there are Immanuel Kants. Non-compete is an Immanuel Kant. And he's a cunt.
Dialectical relationship between material reality, material conditions, and human consciousness.
That's not a matter of ethics. if we're talking about ethics, you need hypotheticals because they allow you to isolate conditions that you can use to determine the frameworks of your system. If you're only using practical examples for an ethical consideration, then you're post-hocking everything that happens. You're like, well, was that train crash bad? And you're like, well, I don't have a system for this, and you're like working through it. Dialectical materialism.
Isn't Vaush banned? How can we watch it? Well, everyone else watched this debate, so hopefully. Also, this is so worth it. Like fucking, I hope I get clipped to fuck in this stream because I feel like thanks to chat contributing as well, we've got some good moments here, right? Okay.
Is just like this. Dialectical materialism is a system devised to allow us to analyze the world and to provide us a framework for understanding. That's what an ethical...
Marx and Engels, Socialism, Utopian and Scientific, wrote, the final causes of all social
change... The only thing that's missing, actually, is a fuck ton of subs. Tell you what, chat, all right, hey, here's my pitch, right? Are you a bunch of idealists just feeding me all this hoity-toity, liberal, gay moral support? Or are you going to give me some base Chad dialectical materialist fucking donos, right? That's you guys right here. Marx would tell you to donate to me right now to get subs. Fuck you. You guys are literally like supporting abusive behavior. Alan with the Prime subscription, thank you so much. Sublime K with the gifted tier 1 sub, thank you. Captain Terrible with the 5 gifted tier 1 subs. Oh my god. Oh my god. Rev Dork with the gifted tier 1 sub. Thank you so much. Crash Tronim with the 3 gifted tier 1 subs. Thank you so much. Elder Punch with the Prime subscription. Thank you so much. 1N73R73N7 with the Prime subscription. Thank you so much. The Revolution, it's close. Hype Train, level 4. Ooh! There was just an earthquake at Highgate Cemetery with how hard Marx rolled in his fucking grave. Damn. Damn. Elder Punch with the Prime subscription. Thank you very much.
Changes in political revolutions are to be sought not in men's brains, but in men's better insights into eternal truth and justice. Not in men's better insights into eternal truth and justice, but in changes in the modes of production and exchange. They very specifically said
ethical.
We can't just sit around and think about what's best. We have to go out and apply things in the material.
Main Captain with 100 bits. Hello. Hello to you. Assalamu alaikum, Habibi.
World
that has nothing to do with okay, you realize that Marx had a doctorate, right? Like clearly sitting and thinking is part of the process. I think it's okay to sit down and read out a few hypotheticals to learn an ethical system. Like would you like say this to some kid in kindergarten? Like, you know, action is what we need. Like yes, it's okay.
Despite Cervantes 13 with the tier 1 sub. Thank you very much. I don't know if I don't know if anyone can read this. It's backwards as well. But if you read that blurb, right, it's in the back of Das Kapital. You don't even have to open the book. You know what it says? It says, let us finally imagine, for a change, an association of free men working with the means of production held in common. The fucking blurb of Das Kapital is a hypothetical.
To do hypotheticals, it's okay to learn ethical.
Karl Marx is John Lennon.
Ethical systems. And by the way, rural utilitarianism is really applicable with socialism. It is incredibly naturally, almost intuitively, in line with the moral assertions a person might make to argue in favor of socialism.
Marx and Engels did not just sit around thinking, okay? Like in their brains.
We're not talking about...
Marx had fucking carbuncles on his ass because of how long he sat down for. That's a true story. Revenant with 100 bits. Thank you very much. We're almost at level 4 hype train. And since the entire trajectory of humanity is already pre-written by the divine material conditions, we definitely will get the level 4 hype train in 1 minute and 45 seconds. and then we will win the Civil War.
About just sitting around. Wait, are you against the concept of
Sublime K with the 26 bits? Thank you very much.
Of philosophy?
You have to base your analysis on objective data, and there are two sources of objective data. There's the material world, and then there are objective social relations.
Paul DSB with the tier 1 subscription. Thank you so much. Danny Sin Danger with the prime sub. Thank you so much. Woo! Hype Train. Nellis D with the however many fuck that is. Thanks. Despite.
That's the way Marx and Engels put it anyway.
Okay, let me test your intuitive system then. Okay? Let's hit it then. Is it wrong to hit a person?
It absolutely depends on the material conditions and the situation and the objective social relations at play.
It depends. I'd have to stop. I would swing, and then mid-swing, I would pull my arm back, pull out my fucking Marx Bible, and find out what Marx had to say about hitting someone. The material conditions. God damn it. The Revenant with the 45 bits. Thank you very much. Danny's in danger. I already said that.
There's no universal answer to that question.
Okay, I agree.
Yeah, he's talking about he's conflating material conditions with circumstances. Yeah. Like, imagine being so fucking, like, brainwashed that you have to substitute the word circumstance with material conditions. The situation.
So one might say that
social relations, do I need to define that term?
Circumstances matter. Yeah, okay, so I agree with that. So let's say, okay, let's use an example where all of the cases are known. You said that I was too vitriolic to Luna. Why is that bad?
I said that you need to look at the evidence that it's being presented to you and consider whether you think it's bad or not.
And
I'm asking you to apply this kind of analysis to your own platform.
Well, I've done that, but you clearly think it was bad because otherwise you wouldn't take issue with it enough to talk to me about it. You think I've acted in error.
Because I saw evidence, which is that after you talked about her, not just once, but every time you've done a stream about her, I saw a huge uptick in people throwing racist, vitriolic shit at her.
Why is that bad?
That she doesn't usually receive on that scale. That's the evidence I presented to you.
Okay, why is that bad?
I was convinced by that. Excuse me?
Why is that bad?
Why is that bad? Why is that bad? Because a human being suffered as a direct result of actions that you performed.
Do you think that human suffering is always bad? What about when we shot Nazis?
I don't think that Luna... If you think that Luna deserves to suffer... do you think Luna deserves to suffer? Is that your point here? By being attacked by racists? Is that what you're saying?
You're the one who said that it was bad because a person suffered. So logically, I extend from that. You think when suffering happens...
Are you denying that it's bad that Luna suffered because racists sent racist vitriol at her?
I'm asking you your positions. Why was it bad?
I would say it's definitely bad because it's promoting the racist system of white supremacism, which oppresses billions of people around the planet.
Oh my God! Bruh. Just say that Luna's not a Nazi and didn't deserve the same amount of antagonism that Nazis did. I don't know why you can't just talk like a normal person. Oh my God.
Why is that bad?
It is bad because we should seek...
Okay, now he's just being a fucking... Yeah, so now Vaush is just trying to, like, make him angry, I think. Yeah.
To liberate all of humanity from oppression.
Why?
So the main point of Marx and Engels is to you realize that the main point of
are you going to go universalist? Are you going to say something? Are you going to go say something that you earlier dismissed as idealist? Are you about to give a universal moral claim? Uh-oh. Is he going to do it? Just in time for the level 5 hype train, guys.
Dialectical materialism and historical materialism is to free humanity from all class antagonisms.
It's very idealist.
So that we can finally begin writing history ourselves. That's basically the way that they put it.
Why did they think that was worth doing?
Because throughout modern history, or throughout history since class antagonisms arose, let's put it that way, human beings have been driven forward by oppressive relations with the means of production. And
he can't just fucking answer a simple question without like paraphrasing the Communist Manifesto. Why? Vaush asked, why is it bad that people suffer or some shit? Or why is it bad that people were racist to Luna? And now we're on, because the history of all hitherto existing societies has been the history of class struggle and, wait, what was the next line? Free man and serf, plebeian and, what the fuck? Busfisk with a tier 1 sub. Thank you very much. Let's see this.
Why? 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 Why?
And that limits humans and it causes a lot of suffering.
I don't understand these terms. You already said suffering can be good or bad. Limiting? What makes these things bad? I don't understand.
Okay, limiting
why is he doing
oppression, giving people the ability to develop their own material conditions and to have the freedom to do what they want. That's what they talked about in
Why should people have freedom? Should people have freedom to murder?
I don't know why. Like, I feel like the last thing I would do in this situation is try to answer these questions sincerely. Like, once you've figured out what's happening, right? I would do the Joe Biden. Why? You're getting nervous, Jack. You're getting nervous, man. You know why. You know why.
Vaush, freedom to live.
Oh no.
I
Every why is an extra fucking spade that he's just putting in NonCompete's hands, and NonCompete just continues to dig further. Oh god. Oh no. It's so mean.
It would be nice to have an ethical system you could apply to answer these questions, right?
No, okay. A person has the right. This is okay. Let's go back to the material conditions, all right?
He can't say just because I think that's the best way. Like, the only reason you have an ethical framework, the only way you would say is like, I want to maximize human happiness and minimize human suffering. And someone asked me why. It's just because. That's just what I chose. No reason. Just think it's just want it's what I want. And I think lots of other people want that as well. That's it. That's the answer. But NonCompete can't do that. He actually physically can't do it because he thinks that it has to come from material conditions. He thinks there has to be an objective reason for it. He thinks that I think he's kind of on the edge of thinking there needs to be an objective morality. And I think his fucking Spark Notes, Karl Marx, 2 weeks in sociology brain rot has just left him stuck in this way that he can't accept that your moral system is only because you chose it, and that's it, because you like it.
If you're being oppressed, right? If you're being oppressed and somebody is forcing you to work for them as a slave or a wage earner or whatever, that is a form of exploitation, okay?
Isn't that their freedom?
What is bad, excuse me?
Isn't that their freedom? You're talking about restricting the freedom of people to do unto others what they will.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are. You're saying that you don't like it when people exercise their freedom to oppress others. You said you value freedom.
Vaush.
Mm-hmm.
Listen. The fact of the matter is that Marx and Engels believed that exploitation through class antagonism is not good.
Why?
Do you agree or disagree with that?
We're talking about what I agree. I think I'm a Marxist, at least in some respects. But I have an ethical system that informs the reasons why I feel Marxism is worth following.
This is so...
And what is that?
Rule utilitarianism. Or I guess some people say you can fold that into act utilitarianism. So let's just say utilitarianism. Fine.
But but there's no...
This isn't a
Okay.
matter of idealism. It's a matter of understanding why we fight for what we fight for. What you're arguing for is intuitive morality, which is exactly what leads to every goddamn pogrom and mass slaughter that's ever happened throughout history. When
Okay,
people
you didn't have to, Vaush, you fucking idiot. You didn't have to do that. Why are you saying that non-compete being just keep it at him being a dumbass? I don't know why. Why do you have to say that him being a dumb fuck is the cause of genocide? Oh no. Now what's happened is after handing non-compete shovel after shovel, getting him to dig fucking 40 feet into the ground, and now he said, hold it right there, give me that. And then he just fucking jumps into the hole with him, grabs out the shovel, and says, I can dig faster than you, just watch me. Why would you do that? It's so weird. Okay, I want to see how it goes.
post hoc justify what's right or wrong. Only the construction of and adherence to moral systems that you can understand can prevent that kind of stuff from happening. And it's why I'm hammering on it right now. I don't like it when you're laughing like, oh, hypotheticals, oh, thinking.
Material conditions will dictate what's acceptable or not. If and the only way to we have to
Like, why are you against the concept? Do you think you're smarter than like all of like ethics, like the whole philosophy? Like that's like the most complicated.
So okay, if you are, I don't know how to explain this to you. Like you have to look at history, right? That's one way that's one way to look at it. So whenever people have been enslaved, if they rise up and use violence to liberate themselves, then that is probably acceptable because they had material conditions in which violence was being. Okay, so
the Nazis?
Rising up against the Nazis was acceptable, yes.
No.
The easiest response is to say that Marxism is descriptive, not prescriptive. Mostly. But it is prescriptive as well, broadly. But yeah, like Marx wanted people to make the world a better place. Okay, wait, someone said something's happening. Okay. Okay, ready, go.
After World War I, the Nazis claimed that Jewish bankers were holding the country down through.
And that was false consciousness because that wasn't actually happening.
How can you tell?
That was false.
You think you know how to dig non-compete? Watch this. Okay.
A moral utilitarian rule that did not align with reality.
They were not utilitarian. Wait, the Nazis were not utilitarian.
Give me that shovel, non-compete.
They were very, very not utilitarian.
The point is, their ideology.
You call that digging?
I
can dig much deeper than you, boy.
How can you tell?
Because Jews don't actually control banks in the world.
There was a disproportionate number of Jewish control of banks.
Oh, God. Oh, there it is. We're now. I can feel the Earth's core bubbling in my crotch.
You don't have an ethical. Oh, my God.
I can feel the burn of the Earth's core tickling my ball sack. Get me in there. All right. What the fuck did he say?
Thank you. Goodbye. This is
No. After World War I, the Nazis claimed that Jewish bankers were holding the country down through.
And that was false consciousness because that wasn't actually happening.
How can you tell?
That was false consciousness. They constructed a moral utilitarian rule that did not align with reality.
They were not utilitarian. Wait, the Nazis were not utilitarian. Careful with that.
Yeah,
they were very not utilitarian.
The point is that their ideology was not aligned with reality.
How can you tell?
Because Jews don't actually control banks in the world.
There was a disproportionate number of Jewish control of banks in Germany during the Weimar Republic.
All right, Vaush, we're done here. Thank you. Goodbye. That's all I need to hear.
You don't have an ethical. Oh my God.
Oh God. It's like I know what. Okay, so. I think the answer there would be like, I don't actually know if that's true. I've never bothered to look into it. The correct way to look at that would be like, okay, if it was true, that still doesn't justify Nazism, but yeah, whatever. Like, any group can have a disproportionate control. Like, men have disproportionate control of things. I mean, you genocide the men. Okay. Like, fucking hell. It's actually not true. Yeah, I didn't think it was true. Fucking hell. Why did you do that, though? God damn it. Why the fuck? when you have this guy, when you have this fucking moron like hanging himself with every bit of rope you give him, every just like, why do you think that? And he can't answer because he cannot say he believes in something morally just because. He can't do that because he was mocking idealism for the whole fucking debate. Like, just watching him do that until, and then just being like, yeah, okay, you're not really giving me any answers. That's it. And I think Vaush has said this before, is like, he's maybe not like as good as he could be at just letting people do the talking themselves and letting people, like, he was doing a really good job of it there, but then he just had to throw in there were Jewish control of the oh god. Oh god. What are these clips?
A moral utilitarian. They constructed a moral utilitarian rule that did not align with reality.
They were not utilitarian. Wait, the Nazis were not utilitarian. Careful with that. They were very, very not utilitarian.
The point is that they were their ideology was not aligned with reality.
How can you tell?
Because Jews don't actually control banks in the world.
There was a disproportionate number of Jewish control of banks in Germany during the Weimar Republic.
Maybe the Nazis had a point. They constructed a moral utilitarian.
What? What the fuck? Who the fuck clipped that? Oh my god.
Maybe the Nazis had a point.
All right. Oh, okay. I know. So I'm guessing there are clips circulating of Vaush saying the Jews had control. Okay. Okay.
I've heard enough. I could not laugh at that.
Oh, he's just coping. Okay, whatever.
Because it's such a
No, fuck it. I'm watching that. I don't care. Read theory, you fucking idiot, and stop fucking quoting Spark Notes and getting it wrong.